So welcome to the uvwasi team meeting for August 30th. We'll go through the issue in the agenda, which was issue number 227. Add myself to the agenda. And here's the link if everybody can add themselves in. Oh, and I just have to, run for 1 second because I have people in my basement.
Hope they're supposed to be there.
I wasn't gonna make the joke. You don't have the link to the agenda, do you?
Yeah, let me grab it.
Hello. Sorry about that. There's a big flood here, so I have people in the basement. So anyway, right. So we will go through the issue, and I'm just going to paste the link so that everybody can add themselves in if that's not already done. Where's the chat?
I got you.
Excellent. Okay, so I think on the first issue, that bug, I don't think there's no update this week. Any news on the uvwasi front for people to share?
I think so.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
nothing. So go ahead.
I mean, I guess I can do a sort of preview 2 update, sort of standard one. I've managed to get one of the features of preview 2 is one of the major features is resources, which is the ability to something like file descriptors have a sort of a reference that's a local reference to a resource that's some kind of like that has some kind of allocation, or it's something that's kind of existing, and that has it can actually have a destructor, and you can pass around these references in a sort of almost like rusty way with a sort of an ownership borrow model where they get deallocated when they're no longer owned. And we've so a lot of the preview 2 APIs will benefit from resources, because things like files are resources, I think our streams resources, maybe. And then so a lot of the things get turned into resources because everything's kind of a resource that gets tracked and disposed. So that's one of the last major changes for preview 2 to kind of reach stability. So resources are pretty much done as a feature, but the next step of updating preview 2 to use resources will be kind of rolling out next month. And in the JavaScript sort of toolchain for running preview 2 components and for executing them in Node, I've got resources support in already. So we kind of can create these things, and they turn into like JavaScript classes when you expose them to JS. And so you get these things that have methods on them, they have statics, and you can do all those things with them. And then it integrates into the JS GC so that the finalizer in the JS GC then disposes that resource as well. If you have an own handle, if it's just a borrow, then it just becomes dead. So it's an interesting model, but interesting from the perspective of being like one of the last features for stability. And so I've also been doing a bunch of prototyping around the support for WASI in the preview 2 Jones project we have for preview 2 support in node.js and browsers. And it's, yeah, still development still continuing there to a level at which it can sort of run now these CLI applications with arguments and things like that in node.js and browsers. So at some point it might be worth doing a sort of an up-to-date demo on that in this group meeting. when that's sort of all on the latest version, and maybe even at the next meeting could be an option.
Yeah, that'd definitely be interesting to see.
Yeah, so that's the main things on the Preview 2 side.
Okay, that sounds good, because that's what we have as the next issue was the changes to the spec update for Preview 2, which I think you just covered. So that takes us to the end of the issues. I don't know if there's any others we should talk about this week, or I still have on my backlog to look at the node side of the socket stuff. I just haven't had a chance to get around to that yet.
Have we has Node updated to the latest uvwasi?
It
Or I guess
should
we
pretty
don't.
much happen automatically. I haven't been keeping an eye on it, but
Does it happen when we make a release, or does it just stay in sync with master? Or sorry,
no, once
main?
it's when we do a release. So basically there's some automation that should check and say, hey, is there a new release? If so, then it would do an update.
I
Looks like
guess
it was
then
18 months ago, so.
it was how many months ago?
Well, maybe, sorry, that was at the top. I'm looking at like what's in the depths.
Because we updated
0.0.18.
right. So I guess the question is are you ready for your socket implementation to be in a release? Because we merged your socket implementation, but we have not made a release. And I think that we want to make that release so that we can get that upstreamed, right?
Yeah, I think that would be helpful in terms of it would make development of the upstream part easier. So I'd say yes, right?
Yeah, I just didn't know if you were hoping to have that in release or if you were waiting on other things. So I think
no, I think we should just do a release. I hadn't thought about that yet, but yeah, like having it actually, like it doesn't expose anything by having that update there, but
right.
it makes the PR to Node landable, because that is kind of a prereq. So yeah, I think we should do a release now, and then so that does make sense.
Okay.
I don't know, is that have you done a release? I can do a release and put a release.
I've not done a release. I think we have it documented how to do a release.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've not made one specifically.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that on the list. Maybe I'll put that as a new issue, just so that we don't forget. Next release. I'm gonna tag for the, I should get that done.
The README, the steps.
Yeah, like basically those are the steps that we'd go through. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and I haven't made any time to automate any of that. So
okay, I know that's a very good point, and I'll try and do that this week. And if not, it's on the I with the agenda, so we'll get a reminder next time.
sounds good. The only other thing is that WasmCon is next week. So we'll have even more information to talk about at the next meeting, hopefully.
Are you going or watching, or?
I'll be attending, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it'll be interesting to get. Sorry, go ahead.
Oscar will as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, it'll be great to have hear an update from you two then. Okay, any other topics? If not, thanks for your time, and we will see you in GitHub and next time. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.